Hey guys, it's Alira. Welcome to Flosstube number 12. It's been just over a month since I last recorded, and I will get into the length of time towards the end of the video. I'm a little out of sorts. We're back in the kiddos' room with the mural. The husband is out working. It's pushing 9 o'clock at night, so not super early, but definitely not as late as I usually record, which is a good thing. I just had to figure out the best time and way to get a recording done. This one's going to be kind of, all right, let's face it, my videos are long. And thank you, by the way, to anybody who is already a subscriber coming back to join me. I appreciate you so much for coming back. For anybody that's new, welcome. Thank you for joining. This one's going to be raw, so I'll warn you now. I won't really get into that until a little bit later. And of course, I've got the Flosstube itchy nose, so sorry. But I have been very busy stitching and working, among other things. So I have 7 projects to show you. There are 9 other ones that I won't be showing because there's only I'll talk about that. Main projects that I'm going to be showing you, there's about 7. So let's get right into it. I'm not going to promise how coordinated this is going to be today because, yeah, my brain hasn't been quite there, but I've been wanting to record, so here we go. All right, so these are actually just in not chronological order, but in number of stitches I got into them order. So smallest to largest. So first up, we're going to do Firewalker. It is a chart by Jonas Jodecki, JoJo's art, by the kits by Gecko Rouge. And I pulled this one out one night because something different. Here is where he was last time, and this time I only got about, is it focusing? I only got 276 stitches in, so just still filling in the not 939 colors, at least what I assume is 939. Gecko Rouge doesn't actually put the number of what the color is, but 939 is one everyone seems to know and love. I hope it's not focusing on my face. You can't see. I don't necessarily like this recording setup because I can't really see what you guys are seeing without. Anyway. All right. Next, I worked on Gypsy Firefly. This is a artwork by Amy Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Firewalker is on 28 count, even weave, easy guide, 1/1 full cross. Gypsy Firefly I'm doing on an 18 count Ada. I don't necessarily like the 18 count for full coverage projects. I just feel like it enunciates any kind of pixelation. But this is when I really first started getting to full coverage, trying to figure out what I liked. So we'll go with it. We'll stick with it. It's fine. And this is the regular size max color version. And I got 558 stitches in, and it looks like a hot mess right now because what I did, scoot up a little bit, I think I'm too far away from the camera. What I did was I started out cross country, but this is mostly, again, 939. There's kind of a theme here. I just worked in the 939, but then when I started going in and filling in all these holes, I could see the ninja stitches okay, but I didn't like stopping and starting the threads all the time. So what I've started to do is I have gone back through and figured out where my diagonals are and started parking. So this was where the 939 cross country had gone, plus some of the ninja stitches that I'd started. And then this is what what's going on now with parking. So I'm starting, you know, up at the top, filling in, but it's going to be quite a while before I actually get to a regular diagonal. Yeah, and this is just a cord winder is what they're called. I get them from one of our suppliers for our business, Dutchware. He sells these. I just picked them up from him because I was like, hey, I know what those are used for. All right, so there's that. I'm not even really sure. I have no idea what the before pictures even look like to you guys because I don't rewatch my videos once I've done edited them and uploaded them. So that might not be very interesting to look at because I can't even tell what I did. All right, next up is also a Heaven and Earth Designs, Malaganos. This was a limited edition chart last year sometime. The artwork is by Pia Wanachiowang, and I put 707 stitches in this guy. Still not a lot to look at, whole lot of purple. And still just working the parking method for this one. I haven't had any desire to convert this from one to the other. I've been finding that it depends on the project as to whether or not I really feel like going parking or cross country. Just kind of depends on the chart for me. So just, oh, and this is worked on, this is a 28 count Ada that I got off AliExpress. I've had several people ask is it really 28 count even, or excuse me, Ada. And as far as I can tell, it is. It's very stiff. It's very, very stiff. My last video, I did link, I think it was last video. I linked the shop that I get this fabric from, and I like them. It's consistent. So yeah, there's that. Malaganos. Again, and if there's any information that I'm not mentioning that you would like, please feel free to leave a comment. I'm always open to questions. So yeah, feel free to ask if I don't say something that I should have as far as information goes that you would like. All right, next up is Veil Nebula. This is also Heaven and Earth Designs. Just a NASA photograph, and this is one that I had excuse me, that I requested in supersized max color. The lovely Stephanie Glover over at SEWGlover Creations here on Flosstube and on Instagram was wonderful, and once I had requested it, she gifted me the chart, so I started it right away, and I put another 1,300 stitches into this one. It is just mostly black at this point. As you can see, there are some stars that have gotten filled in already. They are few and far between, and basically as this chart gets filled in, the nebula will go from left to right across, you know, from the bottom corner up to the other corner. So I'll go from nothing but black to no black and then back to black again. But this is a very long-term project, obviously. I'm nuts and have several supersize max color charts going on, but I'm very much a process stitcher. I have moods and as far as what I feel like stitching on, or, you know, pictures that I want to see, start, whatever. SEWGlover. And it doesn't bother me as far as number of whips goes, to a point. All right, next we have, this is a pre-printed kit that I got when I first started getting back into cross stitching, before I really was cognizant of copyright. So I'm not sure if this has a particular artist. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. And when I first showed this project, I had it unrolled off of the bars. I'm not going to do that now because I'm actively working on it. I don't even remember what video it was in because like I said, I don't go back and watch, and I'm kind of a lazy floss tuber, so that's a lot of work that I'm not willing to do to show you the whole thing. But let's do it this way. So there, I'll put the before, or where I was last time, try to squeeze it in next to here. But I've really just been going through and filling in the water. I kind of just, I do a thread, and then whatever is the lowest not done, that's the next color I do. So I've just been filling in, and now it's kind of starting to go where this is going to be kind of all filled in next. But wow, that looks really good in the camera as far as the reflection. It really looks like a hot mess of nothing in person, and kind of close up. So to see it in the camera, it actually looks like a picture. So that's kind of exciting. All right, so there's my Pegasus. Most of those I just worked on like a night or a couple of nights, because I have a main focus piece at the moment that I just take breaks from, or I'll work like half of my evening time on it and then pick up something else as a break, because I don't want to burn myself out on my focus piece, which I think could definitely happen if I'm not careful. I also don't remember if I deleted the video from last time off of my phone, so I hope I have enough space on my memory for this video. Next is Lightweaver. I actually worked on him for a few days because I had a goal. Once I picked him up, I absolutely had a goal. And this is, again, a chart from Heaven and Earth Designs. I definitely have a theme as far as charts that I not necessarily like to work on the most, but that's the company that I found that I was just like, buy all the things from for charts. But this is another supersized max color. And last time I had parked threads everywhere. And now I have worked in all of the park threads except where it's going to go into when the hoop gets moved, or if I transfer it over to a Q-snap. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I'm actually really liking Q-snaps, but I have far too many hoops and not enough Q-snaps to go around. So things are going to still have to be in hoops. So you can see where the outline of his, I don't know what to call it. It's not his scruff, but like the crest, probably his crest, is starting to come in. And I've got another light bubble here that's going to be filled in. But this one just seems to lend itself to cross country a little bit more. And I'm kind of doing a blend of of diagonal stitching in cross country, where I'm going to be filling in whatever square is next in the diagonal completely, but I'll be running the thread completely out as far as cross country goes, if that makes sense. So pick a color or run it down, but go, once that's done, or do the section, even if it doesn't get filled in completely, I'll end it at the thread, or end the thread if that's the last section. And then I'll go back up and pick the next color in the square as if I were parking, run it down, and see how that goes, and see how I like that. But I hope that's been focusing. Fat face in the way. I guess I could just hide, but then I can't really see. There we go. So that's Lightweaver. Oh, and the artist on this is Raven Phelan. This is also on 28 count Ada. I find for full coverage pieces, that's my go-to. I love the 28 count. Yes, it's tiny. And I have a new stitchy spot. I actually bought a wingback chair, which for whatever reason, I love wingback chairs. but I don't have the proper lighting anywhere else in the house besides my work area. But it's been so nice to have at the end of my work day where I actually move away from my workspace and sit in a rail chair and relax. Because this chair I was in like 18 hours a day, and it was not really good for my mental health, to be honest. So yeah, so I have a new chair. Now I just need better lighting. I have a snaky light, one of those bendy ones. It's got a magnifier on one end and another light source on the other. Like the magnifier has a light, and then there's like a bigger light on the other end. And I've just been kind of wrapping that on the back of the chair to shine directly on my work. So that's working okay for now. It's not the ideal setup, but Pegasus was on 14 count for the pre-printed thing. And finally, and Lightweaver had almost 3,000 stitches in him since. I feel like it doesn't look like it because of how cross-country tends to look for me. It just doesn't seem like it's growing as much visually as I would like, but I know it's got a lot of work into it. Pegasus, I don't know. I fill it in, I don't count. It's pre-printed. It's definitely nice on the nights when I don't want to think about anything. Stab, 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 stab. That's all I want to do. Okay, so my focus piece is a picture that I did for front on pixel-stitch.net. I will link them below in case you have a picture or something that you want to convert and are interested in what I used. But this is Boudreau. This was my friend's dog that passed about a month and a half ago now. And as soon as he passed, his wife had posted some pictures online, and I snagged one because I want to do this as a memorial and as a surprise for them. So this has been my major focus piece. And in the last month, I have added 17,127 stitches to this. So he has an ear. You can definitely see the table in the picture now. And yeah, my crazy park threads here. So my goal, I actually have a goal of about 900 stitches a day. With the blocks of color right now, it's very doable for me personally. I don't really do much of anything after I get done with work except for stitch. We do some light household chores, things that need to be done, but for the most part, I stitch. We don't go anywhere or really do anything. So, and I don't meet that goal every single day, and I'm totally fine with that. But if I sit down and, excuse me, I need to get a drink here real quick. But if I sit down and stitch, he's pretty much what I've been gravitating to. Like I said, I do tend to take a break from him, you know, halfway through the evening. Or if part of the reason I got this much done was stress focusing. And again, I'll get into that a little bit later. So, and then for my last 9 projects that I worked on 2 nights ago, whatever the 100th day of the year was, Suki, the brown-eyed stitcher, here on Flosstube and on Instagram, she had the awesome idea of celebrating the 100th day of the year, which for me is also, spring is my most favorite season of the year. It signals a renewal of life for me, tends to sort of break that winter depression, doldrums, whatever you want to call it. If it kind of breaks that for me and gets me a little bit more I don't know, alive along with everything else. So I really look forward to spring every year. And she mentioned celebrating that and by trying to do 100 stitches on as many projects as she could that day. I was like, oh, this is brilliant. I want to play too. So I started, I don't know, it was probably 7 or 8 o'clock that night. And technically I got 6 projects, but I counted 3 more because by midnight, but I counted 3 more because I didn't go to sleep and I kept working on it. So I'm not going to show those. Like I said, it was like 100 stitches, maybe 100 up to 120, depending on if I had thread left. I just went ahead and finished that off. But I have them posted on Instagram if you're interested. And if you are interested in actually wanting to see the progress on those 9, let me know and I'll maybe show it next time. But that just seems like my videos are always long enough as it is. I didn't really feel like I needed to make it worse. So there's just a couple of things that I want to show you as far as I don't really have any haul per se. I actually forgot to, ooh, sorry, crinkles. Forgot to show you this the last time because I forgot. It happens. But I had talked in one of my previous videos about the Long Dog Samplers, the new normal. And I had ordered fabric and silk from Bestitch Me. And that was back in November. And it actually came a while ago and I totally forgot to show you guys. But I picked up a linen 36 count in Gaia. Here, let me turn it this way. That's probably, there we go. And that's, yeah, that's pretty true to color, actually. Thanks, blue wall behind me. And I also ordered some silk for it. Sorry, crinkling, I forgot to take it out. I had also picked up some silks to do the new normal with. And of course, when these are the first silks I've ever had or will have worked with. And I wasn't real familiar. And of course, it's hard to, sorry, I don't know what I'm doing here with my hands. I wanted a blue theme, a blue theme. And what I got, let me scoot up a little bit here so you can see, were these. And I like them, but I don't think they really go, I don't think they're like, those two are okay. Those two are okay. Those two are okay. But all 3 together, I don't know, something doesn't just, it just doesn't sit quite right with me. I don't know. What do you guys think? So, and unfortunately, I don't have enough silk to take one out. So I'll have to order more or a different color, but I don't really, my fun money from previous years with stimulus and things has come to an end. So I'm really having to budget and make frugal decisions, which yes, I should have been doing that to begin with all along, but I didn't. So there it is. So I really have to make try to figure out, I don't know, tell me what do you think? Do those colors look okay? Will it work? Should I just try it, go for it, and if I hate it, I can always rip it out and try again? The idea of that just kind of sickens me a little bit. I don't frog if I can help it. I fudge it. So, I don't know. We will see. The other thing that happened is Instagram. I actually was tagged in a Black Needle Society post where they were doing their beginning of the year giveaways. And I thought, Sure, why not? I'll enter. I actually won one. And ta-da! Here it is. This is January's box, so I am not worried about any kind of spoilers. If you've already seen their box, I'm sorry. This is the first I've ever actually held one of their boxes in my hands. It smells really good in there because there's a candle. But I wanted to share with you guys what they threw in there, in case you're ever interested in maybe what their boxes and things are like. But a little needle minder. Like I said, this was did I say January? This seems like a February box. It's very red. I could have swore this was the January box, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. So it's like a February theme. So maybe for January they were going into February. Lollipop. A candle. That still smells really weird. My sense of smell has still not returned to normal from my COVID, I guess. That was possibly not COVID, but anyway. Let's see. This is a moisturizing waxy thing. Lolo to go. You can't see that. There. And I haven't really tried any of this because I wanted to show you guys before I really got into it. This beautiful pair of scissors. A very appropriate hot chocolate for me. And their flyer. And then it also came with, it's like a small project bag. It's just a vinyl bag, but it's got Jane Eyre. I am no bird and no net ensnares me, which I think is, that's upside down. This is lovely. A lovely sentiment. All right, and then for the more stitchy part of this is a hands-on design. And I think Kathy, I don't know her last name, Kathy, but she's the designer behind Hands-On Design. Signed the pattern. But a waffle lot is this project. And I guess it's like a pincushion. But it came with, and I don't know if this fabric is meant for the project, but it also came with a 32 count Belfast linen, an 1/8 yard, in lipstick. That's actually a little orangier than it is in person. Let's see if that helps if I take it out of the bag. Nope, that is still really too orange. There we go. That's better. And it's got a little bit of modeling to it. Yeah, you can kind of see it. So, I mean, the background on that design, on that pattern, is white, so I'm not sure that that's really what this is for. I have no plans for that fabric at the moment, but I definitely appreciate it very much. And then it also came with, the fabric and floss that are in the box is fiberonawhim.com. And this is 8 yards called Bouquet. I'm not sure if it's silk or cotton. I don't know. But it's a beautiful, here, beautiful like greeny rose and cream color. So again, I don't do many samplers or smalls or anything, so I'm not sure what I'll use for that or use that for. But I think it's I think it's a fantastic little array of goodies. So thank you very much to the Black Needle Society for that box. And that's, I think that does it for really for the Stitchy Stuff. I did, so not last Saturday, but the Saturday before, I actually ended up Zooming with with Darren from Dizzy Stitcher. We had a blast. There was only 4 to 5 of us tops in there at any given moment, and that was wonderful for my social anxiety. I could handle that many people and trying to hold a conversation and without really knowing anybody there. It was a fantastic time. We had a good laugh, and Darren had some the stories that he told, and he actually, in his, not this last Stitch with Me, but the Stitch with Me before, he told some of those stories that he was sharing with us, and I laughed the second time around just as hard. So go check him out if you don't already follow him. He's good company, so go check him out. So, all right, yeah. As far as Stitchy Stuff goes, that's about it. We're at 32 minutes. That's actually pretty darn good for me. I wanted to share a little bit about where I have been the last month, because I think it's important to kind of, my brain is still very much not coping very well with it. So right after my last upload, I went and had a routine mammogram done. It was that time of year. I was very glad when they lowered the recommended age in the US for when to get a mammogram, because I've had a family history of it. So I just wanted to get on top of it. It seems like they've been finding breast cancer in women younger and younger, and 45 just didn't seem like it was young enough as far as screenings go. And I don't know if this is like this everywhere in the US, or if you're in a different country, if this is how it works, but there was an information act that was enabled to give patients more access, quicker access, better access to their own medical records. So a lot of our like appointments and information is, you can basically access your digital chart. So that afternoon, after I got the mammogram done, I got the test results. And in that report was a phrase no woman ever wants to hear, that there was a 5 centimeter cyst, 5 centimeter mass found in my left breast. And I was like, okay, all right, they have to go, and that they would need to do follow-up testing. So I advocated for myself, and rather than wait for people to call me, I made a phone call to the center that did the imaging and said, what do I need to do? What are my next steps? I assume I need an order. Who do I get the order from for the ultrasound? Because they have to do an ultrasound as a follow-up. Basically, more testing. And they said, well, your doctor that we sent your images to needs to write the order. We have to get that, and then we schedule your ultrasound. Okay, great. Get off the phone with them. Immediately call my family doctor and say, hey, you probably don't even have it yet, but you're going to get my imaging, and I have to have an ultrasound. So please keep an eye out for it. And they're like, okay, no problem. If you haven't heard from us by, this was on Tuesday that I went for my mammogram, and I actually had screwed up, and it was supposed to have been the day before, and they were so kind to get me in right away. Like, I was in the car and they were like, where can you be and how fast, and we'll get you in. Thank God. So I called my doctor, and they said, you know, Friday if you haven't heard anything. Okay. So the breast center calls me on Thursday and said, look, we've got the order request over to your doctor. Now we just have to get that order back, and then we can schedule. I'm like, cool. All right. Get off the phone with them. Immediately call the doctor. Like, hey, you should have this you should have this. I just want you to know, I'm not trying to be a pest. Just try and make sure that all my ducks are in a row and that everybody knows what's going on. They're like, okay, cool. So they actually called me. I can't remember now if it's Thursday or Friday, but they called and said that they had sent the order over to the breast center so that I could schedule my ultrasound. So get off the phone, call them back. So I did a whole bunch of legwork, because I know that it can, you know, days can count. So I called the breast center back, and they said, yes, we have it. Let's go ahead and schedule you. So I was in the next Wednesday as far as scheduled. That was on Friday. So I had 4 days of just waiting and waiting and waiting, knowing that, and I think what was the hardest part for me was knowing that if the ultrasound wasn't definitive, or if they found that it needed to have whatever done, that would mean more tests and more waiting. Because if they find something, they have to biopsy it. And I have a phone call coming in. Bear with me, guys, because I don't know how to decline it, and I don't want to mess up the video. And that's really distracting. So anyway, I knew that, like I said, it's not a definitive thing when you go in for an ultrasound. If they find something, then they have to schedule a biopsy, and then you have to wait more. So for me, it was the waiting. It was the waiting that was killing me. I just needed to know what's my next step. I'm very much, I don't do well with question marks at all. So I did okay up until the night before the ultrasound, and then I broke down and had myself a good cry. I understand that, you know, I didn't know at this point what was going on, but again, it's nothing any woman ever wants to hear, and no one wants to have to go through. And, you know, that whole week, it was just a lot of what ifs. Well, what if this is happening? You know, what if? And so we go in, I go in on Wednesday, and I get the ultrasound. And I'm no ultrasound tech, but I seem like I kind of inherently understand ultrasound images. Like, when I was pregnant, there was no hiding what sex my children were from me, because I could read the ultrasound well enough to know what, oh, having a girl, oh, having a boy, oh, you know. So when I saw the black void of this mass, I started to breathe a tiny sigh of relief. because that meant it was fluid filled. And I was like, please, Lord. And yeah. So the ultrasound tech finishes, she goes, and they have a doctor there that reads the ultrasound right then and there. And she came back and she said, you're okay. It's a cyst. It's a fluid filled cyst. It's benign. You're okay. But let me tell you, that week of not knowing what if that next Wednesday was going to be a life-changing event for me or not, I'm still, I have like a delayed onset symptoms of anxiety. When my dad got hurt, I kept it together pretty well until he was in the clear. Once he was in the clear, that's when I started breaking down. And it's kind of the same way with this. I've been having very, very physical manifestations. Not full-blown panic attacks, but my anxiety attacks are very draining. They physically just wear me down. And they've been ongoing for a couple of weeks now. So I'll be okay. I'm still got my medicine, but it does take a while for my system to realize that I'm okay. We don't have to, there's no fight or flight anymore. You can relax. I haven't been able to handle much socializing. I've been doing a lot of Flosstube watching that doesn't have anything to do with, like, there's no, it's like not necessarily ASMR, but there's music, a lot of Stitch with me's that are sort of non-interactive. Comments to other videos have been like a unicorn and a heart, because I can't even form like real responses to some of to your videos. And so I'm sorry if that's been very, I don't know, boring of me, but that's what I've been able to muster. You know, like I said, with even making this video, I was a little worried that my brain wasn't going to be able to form a cohesive sentence at all, because it's still very my oldest and I have kind of an analogy that we have so many spoons a day as far as our emotional, social interactions go. We have so many spoons we could spend. And once we have spent those spoons in interactions or emotional whatever, then we're done. We can't do anymore. Well, my spoons got spent and then some. It's like I'm in a deficit of spoons. I'm still waiting for those to re-up, to supply, so that I can give a little bit more back than I'm taking from the community. Because I feel like I've been really selfish as far as very closed, and you know, I know some of my responses on my comments and stuff on my last video have been very, very delayed, so I do apologize for that. But yeah, I haven't been really able to, even though I'm okay, it still took and is taking a toll still that week. So yeah, so that's what was up with me the last month, at least as far as the major, the world stopped kind of thing for that week for me. But like I said, I'm okay. I will be okay. It's just definitely a very slow, feel like I'm a little bit underwater trying to reach the surface without drowning. And that's more of a, just like it's the social anxiety. I think it's part of being an introvert. Though when something like that happens, it's very hard for me to expend any energy outside of myself. So, I like, even though I'm by myself in a room, I'm still having a hard time keeping eye contact with you guys because it's very taxing for me to have that kind of interaction. So, please feel free to, please don't take that as I don't want to talk to you. That's not it. I'm just probably going to be a lot slower at responding than normal. Yeah, that's it. That it is what it is as far as that goes. Oh, okay. So I should have talked about this before I went into that. But if you've been with me any length of time, you know that I get kind of random sometimes. So plans for the coming month. It is middle April. Mania is coming up. I have Boudreau is still going to be my main focus piece. I'm not putting him aside for May, but I think what I want to do for May is every single kit that I have is going to be started, which basically means a new project every day. So I'm still doing Mania, but with a twist, because at this point I don't feel like I'm sure I have enough fabric to start 30 projects if I really wanted to, but I don't have the thread capacity at this point. I have been working on my bags. Those I've got one batch of like 9 bags done. I didn't bring any of them in to show you yet because they're still kind of a work in progress. I've got one set of dies and some snaps that I need to get before I show the actual finished product. And I'm still learning how to do the free motion quilting. It didn't turn out bad, but it's definitely not as refined as I'd want. So practice, I guess, will hopefully never make perfect, but practice, I will get better. The last bag that I made, I got a little frustrated on. I have to seam rip some of it because I built the zippers myself, but I left the sliders off because they're a little easier to sew that way. But then I forgot to put them on before I closed it up. So I got to seam rip it, stick the slider back on. So that was fun. So yeah, I think work-wise, my day job with my hammock business, I am so close to actually being in a comfortably caught up position. Now, if we're ever actually caught up, we're in trouble because that means we have no orders. But I'm to the point where I'm going to be lowering my lead time finally after 2 years. It's been almost 2 years since we had to bump our lead time up to ridiculous proportions because of how many orders we were getting. It was fantastic. It definitely exploded our growth, but I hadn't been able to really get out of that hole in 2 years. So I'm now hopefully going to be able to schedule some time for myself a little bit where I have at least one day off on the weekends, or one day a week at some point, to where I can dedicate it to just, I'm still going to work because it would feel weird not to. Yeah, I could probably stitch all day, but that's not good for anybody to really do that all day long. But I want to choo-choo. Goodbye. Train of thought just went. Oh, to have a day off so that I can actually dedicate a day to making bags, to bag making. Because I was trying to work it in at the end of my workday, but then I wasn't really able to find a time balance that I liked. between that and actually doing some relaxing stitching. So, yeah, I think that's it. This is actually a shorter video than I thought it was going to be, so yay me. So yeah, let me know again if you want to see the little tiny progress on 9 other projects that I did. If not, no biggie. They're over on Instagram. You can see them there. I'm hoping my kids come back from their dad's. Oh, see the whole mammogram thing completely. Like next week, I go see I do the sleep study thing. Yeah, that completely blew the whole insomnia problem out of the water for a while. I didn't care when I was sleeping. But it's actually been going fairly well sleeping wise. It seems like some days I'm okay on 5 hours of sleep. Other days I need like 12. And they're not necessarily like I have to have 12 hours of sleep because I had 5 hours of sleep. It doesn't seem to make any sense when I have that. But what I've been doing is when I get tired, I go to bed. But what had happened was I was actually starting... I thought my video was going to be shorter. If you're still here, kudos, you guys. And thank you for hanging out and chatting with me, because I haven't really been able to do that. I've been very into my, obviously with my family, but I have not done much interaction outside of the house. Anyways, so I was doing the, go to bed at midnight, get up at 8. Go to bed at midnight, get up at 8. Didn't matter how I felt, if I was tired or not. That's what time I went to bed. That's what time I got up. But what I was finding was that even when I was going to sleep at midnight, I would wake up at 8 and I'd have a great work day, but then I would sit down to stitch and relax for the evening. And at 6 o'clock, I'm falling asleep in my chair. I'm like, well, this isn't fun. This sucks. So I decided to, okay, rather than concrete, you have to go to bed at this time, I would go to bed when I'm tired. I would wake up when I was awake. And even if it had only been 5 or 6 hours, if I was awake, I was getting out of bed, which is not typically like me. I think I've convinced myself that I need 8 hours of sleep. So if I didn't get 8 hours of sleep, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be so tired. I better go back to sleep. And then I would sleep for way too long. I think I've had 5 hours of sleep today because I woke up. So I got up. But yesterday it was like a 10 or 11 hour sleep day. Which is possibly why I only got 5 hours last night, because my body was like, I don't need that much sleep. So I don't know. We'll see what they say for the sleep study next week. At the very least, I'll know if I have sleep apnea, which I think is really the main concern that they have when they do sleep studies like that. But yeah, I'll keep you updated on how that goes. I know some of you have expressed some interest, especially those of you who are atypical sleepers like I am. So and also thank you to those of you who have reached out to share your struggles with sleeping as well, because it can definitely feel very lonely when it comes to if you're not sleeping and the rest of the world is, or it feels like the rest of the world is. Going to do a stitchy meetup with my girls on Saturday. I think that actually might be it now. That was the other big thing that I wanted to touch base. No reading glasses anymore because I have the old lady multifocal lenses. It's a little weird. I don't know. I seem to have adapted to them really quickly. Still a little wonky when it comes to switching distance and close up quickly. But yeah, I've been very excited, and it's been a little odd because I've had to use the readers for over a year now, not to have to put a pair of glasses on my face. So that's been exciting. So yeah, I think I will go ahead and end it here, just shy of an hour. That's, I think, a record for me for a while. And oh, but what I was saying that my kids come back on Sunday after we get back from Easter driving around, and I think if I don't get a chance, like if I don't have a late night can't sleep session to record in a couple of weeks, what I will do is when they leave to go back to their dad's, I'll take over this room again and try to do an update with you then. Because I don't like leaving a long period of time between when I say hey to you guys. So yeah, thank you so much for sticking it out with me if you have made it this far, because I feel very hot messy at this point. Thank you for all of your support, be it my personal life or my Stitchy life. It means the world to me. So thank you so much, guys. I will hopefully see you in a couple of weeks. Take care.